Jealousy can twist even the strongest hearts, and no one feels it more sharply than Jamie Fraser. In this episode, his love for Claire collides with his deepest fears, showing us that even the calmest men can be consumed by stormy emotions. The air is thick with tension as Jamie Fraser moves through the dimly lit halls of his home. Every creaking floorboard under his boots feels like an echo of his own uneasy heart. There is a weight in the way he holds himself, shoulders tight, hands occasionally clenching into fists as if trying to hold back the fire inside. Outside, the last light of the setting sun casts long shadows across the stone walls, painting the room in streaks of gold and darkness. There's a quiet, almost unbearable tension, a kind that doesn't need words to be felt. Jamie's mind races, images of Claire intertwined with another person flashing unbidden in his thoughts. He cannot see them, but he imagines every glance, every smile. And the jealousy inside him grows like a wildfire, unstoppable and consuming. He pauses by a window, hands resting lightly on the sill, and breathes in the cool evening air. The wind carries faint sounds from outside, horses in the distance, the rustle of leaves, but even these small, ordinary noises seem to irritate him. Each one a reminder that the world continues while he is trapped in this quiet storm of his own making. He recalls moments with Claire, soft laughter echoing in his mind, and feels a pang deep in his chest. It isn't just worry, it's annoying. Jealous ache that tightens with each passing heartbeat. Every shadow seems to hold imagined threats, every movement a possible betrayal. Jamie moves through the room, each step slow and deliberate. Yet there is a restlessness in the way he shifts his weight from one foot to the other. He reaches for objects absent-mindedly, a cup, a book, a cloak, and then lets them fall or set them down hard, the small noise echoing loudly in the quiet room. It is a physical release for the tension coiled tight inside him. The more he tries to calm himself, the stronger the feelings grow. Jealousy is not something that can be reasoned with. It is raw. It is instinct. It feeds on imagined slights and half-seen gestures. Jamie's chest tightens and his gaze turns toward the door, as if he can will it to open and reveal the source of his imagined torment. Even the room around him seems to shift under the pressure of his emotions. The shadows stretch and bend with the flicker of firelight from a nearby hearth, creating shapes that resemble figures in conversation or laughter, figures that are not there. Jamie's breath quickens, hands now gripping the back of a chair. He closes his eyes, trying to steady himself, trying to remind himself of the trust and love he shares with Claire. But jealousy does not listen to reason. It whispers doubts, fuels suspicion, and scratches at the edges of a mind already on edge. Every corner of the room seems to hold a memory, a glance, a touch, and Jamie feels the weight of every imagined intrusion pressing down upon him. The quiet becomes almost unbearable. Outside, the sun disappears completely, leaving the world in the muted blue of twilight. Jamie leans against the wall, his shadow stretching long and jagged, a visual mirror of the turmoil within him. His thoughts whirl in an unrelenting cycle, moments of warmth and affection with Claire followed by flashes of imagined betrayal. It is a storm contained in a single human heart. Silent to the outside world, but deafening within. He cannot speak. The emotions he feels, he cannot release them without shattering the delicate balance of love he treasures so dearly. Every small noise, every fleeting shadow, every imagined movement becomes a spark to the fire of jealousy burning quietly but powerfully inside him. Even as he walks away from the window, the sense of foreboding lingers. The world outside continues on its slow, indifferent path. But inside Jamie Fraser, time is measured in moments of tension, heartbeats, and flickers of shadow. His jealousy is not a public display. It is an intimate, private storm, felt deeply and personally, and it colors every thought, every action, every pause. The room, the fading light, the distant sounds of evening, all of it combines to create a perfect backdrop for the silent battle raging within one man's heart. Jamie Fraser, strong and stoic to the outside eye, is in this moment vulnerable. Driven by a love so deep that jealousy cannot help but follow in its shadow, the evening deepens and the shadows stretch further across the room, slipping into corners as if they themselves are watching, waiting. Jamie Fraser moves with quiet purpose, each step measured, yet underneath, there is a restless energy, a tension coiling tighter with every passing second. The firelight flickers, and the walls seem to breathe alongside him, amplifying the unease that hums in the air. His thoughts are a storm he cannot quiet, circling endlessly around Claire, around imagined rivals, around fleeting moments that might have meant nothing to anyone else, but weigh heavily upon him. His mind replays a smile, a gesture, a passing look from the day, and in every replay, the shadow of jealousy grows sharper, heavier. He drifts toward a table, where a glass of wine sits half full. Catching the low light, his hand hovers above it, fingers brushing the rim before withdrawing, trembling slightly not from weakness, but from the intensity of the emotion coursing through him. Every heartbeat sounds loud, almost deafening in the stillness. He clenches his jaw, trying to force himself to think rationally, but logic is powerless against this tide. The very idea that someone could capture even a fragment of Claire's attention ignites a fire he cannot extinguish. He does not speak. He does not need to. The walls, the shadows, the silence, they feel alive with the tension he carries, pressing in from all sides. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the window panes with soft, urgent taps. Jamie glances toward the sound, imagining figures in the night, imagine threats moving where his eyes cannot see. He paces slowly, back and forth, the rhythm of his steps echoing off the stone floor. Memories rise unbidden, intimate moments with Claire that now carry the sting of fear that another could intrude, that trust might fracture, that love might be threatened by something as invisible and subtle as a glance. He stops suddenly, hand resting against the wall, leaning on it as if it could anchor him against the storm inside. A candle flickers and threatens to gutter out. Jamie catches its movement with a quick glance. Heart jumping as though it were a warning, he reaches forward to steady it, but the act itself is filled with a tension beyond the gesture. Even the smallest, most mundane objects in the room become vessels for his emotion, reflecting the intensity of a jealousy that refuses to be contained. He thinks of Claire, her laughter, her presence, the way she moves through the world with effortless grace, and each thought sharpens the edge of his own restless pride. There is love here. Yes, but it is intertwined with an all-consuming fear, and in that fear, jealousy takes root. Growing wild and unruly, he moves again, this time toward a chair, fingers brushing the carved wood as though seeking reassurance from something solid in the room. The shadows shift with his movement, forming shapes that seem almost human figures imagined, yet terrifyingly real in the mind of a man caught between love and doubt. Jamie's eyes narrow, tracing each shadow, each flicker of light, searching for meaning that may not exist. The tension is physical now, pressing against his chest, coiling around his arms, making even small gestures feel heavy, significant. Every noise, the crackle of fire, the whisper of wind, the distant sound of a horse feeds the internal storm, confirming suspicions that have no proof, yet feel inevitable. Time stretches and bends, and Jamie finds himself pausing near the window again, hands gripping the sill, knuckles white. Outside, the world continues its slow, indifferent motion, unaware of the battle raging inside one solitary man. He breathes deeply, willing himself to find calm, but the effort is fleeting. His mind races with possibilities, some real, many imagined, each one feeding the relentless cycle of jealousy. He envisions moments yet to come, interactions yet to unfold, and feels the heat of emotion rising before any event has even occurred. It is as though he is fighting shadows, not just around him, but within himself. And every thought sharpens the ache of jealousy until it is almost unbearable. Even in silence, there is sound, the subtle echo of his own heartbeat, the whisper of his breath, the faint creak of a floorboard. These are the companions to his thoughts, reminders of a world that moves on without pause. Jamie Fraser, strong and steadfast in so many ways, is vulnerable here, exposed to a force that is invisible yet undeniable. The fire in the hearth throws light across the room, highlighting his tense figure, his restless hands, the subtle tightening of muscles that betray the turmoil inside. And in that light, he is both powerful and fragile, consumed by a single, undeniable truth, that jealousy, when intertwined with love, can shape even the most loyal heart into a battlefield. The night has fully settled, thick and heavy, swallowing the edges of the room in darkness, leaving only the flicker of the hearth to carve shapes from shadow. Jamie Fraser stands silently, a solitary figure in the shifting light, but his mind is far from calm. Every memory of Claire, every imagined glance from another, courses through him like a river of fire. He moves toward the corner of the room, hands trailing along the walls as if seeking a path through the storm inside him. The quiet is deceptive. It is not peace, but a tension that coils tighter with each passing moment.